themselves in foul trouble, because we know United will definitely take advantage of that. Opening up the Dab Lab, not having a bet today, but if you are, make sure you set that deposit limit. Otherwise, join us in the banter channels and have a chat during the game. I'll see you in there. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
They are two powerhouses here in the NBL. Two heavyweights going head to head.
Those Sydney King fans want to see wins. They got to put it together quick. If not, they're going to miss the playoffs.
This is some sort of night that Kendrick Davis is having. Walker 1-on-3, drives and scores. Xavier Courts. Oh. That is remarkable. And Melbourne United's undefeated start to NBL 26 is in serious jeopardy. The Sydney Kings are back in business. An ominous warning shot to the rest of the competition.
For most of the NBL 26 season, the experts suggested that it was Melbourne United's championship to lose. All of a sudden, United have shown that they are human, and Chris Goulding and his troops are looking down the barrel of 4 straight losses. Kendrick Davis and the Sydney Kings arrive at a sold-out John Cain Arena to double down and repeat the last time they met and take another win against Melbourne United on their home floor. Hello and welcome to the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's Sunday afternoon hoops here at John Cain Arena, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. I'm Kelsey Brown, and I'm joined in commentary today by former NBL MVP Derek Rucker and NBL legend Andrew Gaze. And Gazy, this is one of my favourite head-to-heads, and all of a sudden there's plenty on the line today.
My word, there is. I'm really looking forward to this one. You've got Melbourne United. Well, it's since that loss to the Sydney Kings, things have gone south for them after a 9-0 start. And the Sydney Kings, after a rough start, have got their act together, coming here after a spectacular, in fact, team record win on the road in Perth. So you've got two teams at different areas of the scale of where they're at, and looking forward to this to see who can get the advantage.
Well, the Sydney Kings have gone on this run due to good defense. They now sit at #1 in the league on the defensive rating, but also, Drewy, this devastating point guard, Kendrick Davis, the 25-year-old out of Houston, Texas, is on a tear. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games, and he's averaged 24 a game, including 38 the other night. And guess what's back, Drewy? His 3-ball.
Yeah, at the start of the season, he was inconsistent from the three-point line, but Melbourne United would have looked at this game and said, here's the blueprint of not what to do when you're guarding Kendrick Davis, because he had his way with the Perth Wildcats. Incredible game by him. And this fella here as well, Kels, Matthew Dellavedova coming back.
Absolutely, he's coming back. And the last time that he was here, let's not forget that Melbourne United fans actually booed Matthew Dellavedova. And for me, that was disappointing.
That was crazy. The proactive booing for a guy who has been one of the icons of Australian sport, a great ambassador, an aspirational figure for many youth throughout the country, Andrew. Let's hope that they act with a bit more responsibility today.
Absolutely, and I think Melbourne United are looking to rectify this today, and they have set the tone early with this contribution from Daly. Early on the Jumbotron, we've seen other teams do that across the league, and it's a great one from Melbourne United. Let's take a look, though, at Melbourne United for this game. And Derek, the big question is, which Melbourne United are we going to get?
Well, look at the season. The first 9 didn't lose. They looked like they were invincible. The last 9, Drew, it hasn't been so good. And the game the other night in Adelaide was kind of symbolic of their first 18 games this season. They were terrible. And then they came good late in the game to take over, but still went down. And this man right here, he's a winner. He's been a part of why they've been successful over the past 2 seasons.
He did, and he came back after an extended period on the sideline with a hamstring injury. He came back against the Adelaide 36ers, and at both ends of the floor, he was really good. Now, the problem is the 2 most hated words that a coach wants to hear, and that is minutes restriction. He was on minutes restriction. We believe he's going to have similar restrictions here tonight.
Would you start him in this game?
I would start starting him, but I know he's not going to start, so that's going to be something how they manage his minutes, Derek.
Well, the interesting thing is that this man, Tyson Walker, returns from his concussion. And let's, without further ado, welcome in our fourth member of commentary, our brilliant caller, Jack Heverin, to take us through the starting lineup.
Great work by you off the top, Kels. Great to have your company for Sunday hoops around the country as well. The two teams have played twice this season already, and we have had 62 lead changes between Melbourne and Sydney. And it's shaping up to be another great one this afternoon. The starting fives for both teams on screen. And before the tip-off, it started already. Bull Qualt and Tanner Krebs getting into it. Two of the blockbuster teams here in the NBL, Melbourne and Sydney. Sunday hoops at John Cain Arena. And it's the Sydney Kings in possession first. Kendrick Davis turning the corner after a massive night on Friday. His first score no good.
Well, Derek, you spoke about the improvement of the Sydney Kings on the defensive end, but I think offensively it's been almost an even greater improvement as Delaney finds his way to the cup. And they're going to need that tonight, but someone didn't get the memo about uniform colours. We've got two dark teams out there.
Even from close up, it is a little challenging, but we'll get there. Doyle for Tanner Krebs. No Jesse Edwards this afternoon, Derek. He's missing because of an eye issue. How big of a loss is that for Melbourne?
Well, it really weakens them in the interior defense department. He's one of the best in the league. Great rim protector as Delhi lets his first three ball fly. No good. Remember, Delhi was very good here in that victory on November 3rd from the three-point line.
4 of 7, in fact, is Doyle, who's coming off a 6 of 22 outing on Friday night. So well below where he needs to be, but 4 of 7 here. In fact, he's 4 of 17 across the rest of the season, but he was 4 of 7 when they last played here.
You got a nice little welcome pre-game as well. Finn Delaney downhill, coast to coast.
He found a new level on the offensive end, Andrew, and early in games, he's really showing the tendency to attack the rim, and that sets him up later in the game where he gets good quality looks on a regular basis from the three-point line.
Make Xavier Cooks a priority early. Sydney is 0 of 3 to start the game.
Oh dear.
Walker scores.
Tyson Walker early having his impact felt. Happy to be back with his crew. Recovering well from concussion symptoms to lead this Melbourne United team early in this one.
A quick timeout by Brian Goorjian. He doesn't like the pace of play and the ease at which Melbourne United have been able to score everything at the rim.
Kyle Bowen's our mic'd up in the zone player this afternoon. He's always got a bit to say. Let's take a listen.
Let's get it. Family here?
Yeah.
It's gonna be done. Let's go, let's go, let's go. How you feeling? It's cool? Make it work?
Mic'd up, brother. Calm down.
They tell me I gotta get some dirt on you, Dash. Get in there! Don't say much. Come on, man! Come on, fellas, come on, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Yeah, Daddy.
We'll check in with Kyle Bowen across the afternoon. There's Melbourne coach Dean Vickerman. They are away to a really fast 6-0 start as K-pop Demon Hunters blast around John Cain Arena.
Well, there's a sign of a man that has young daughters.
Correct.
Yeah, nice.
I come to work to get away from that.
And look at the beautiful scene here at John Cain Arena. One of the truly fabulous basketball venues in the country. And a country that has a number of beautiful venues, Jack. We are truly blessed.
Well, you mentioned Jesse Edwards not being here, but in fact, when you've got Suarez out there, it might actually be something that's helpful in the short term, at the very least, because Suarez is that perimeter threat with Crystal Victor, a little bit more mobile guarding the perimeter.
Sydney Kings coming off a big win on Friday night in Perth. They've been a little bit slow to get going. They can't find the bottom of the net. That's now 0 of 5 to start the game, after they had such a good shooting night a couple of days ago. Tyson Walker back into the lineup today. Great look for Krebs. Not far away.
He's had a couple of good looks from deep, Krebs. He's in that lineup to knock down those types of shots.
Offensive foul by Davis.
It's going to be a very different night for Kendrick Davis, isn't it? Let's take another look. 38.
Cannot get away with that.
38 points on Friday night, 7 made threes, but I think it's fair to say, Derek and Gazy, that this Melbourne team defends a little differently to the Perth Wildcats.
Yeah, well, it goes without saying. And not only do they have really good team defensive structure, Andrew, but they have individual guys at the point of attack that can make things really difficult for Davis. And
they've got arguably the best defensive coach ever coaching the NBL in Brian Goorjian.
Really?
He goes back generations into what he used to do. I'm sure, Derek, well, I know myself, having to go up against Brian Goorjian, that was, regardless of who his personnel was, he'd have some system in place to make life really tough.
Always something beautiful about Brian Goorjian returning to coach in Melbourne. Back up top to Doyle. Shot clock at 5. Nice D from Galloway. Made life difficult. And the shot clock beats United. It's the first little win that Sydney have had in the game so far.
And Andrew, if you look at Melbourne United's buckets, they've only got 2.5 court. So if I'm Brian Goorjian, I'm telling my guys, hey, let's just be patient, move the ball in the offensive end, because right now we've got a handle on them schematically in our defensive half-court setup.
Home fans still standing. That is the custom until the opposition score.
Wow. Now, one of the good things that, from a Sydney standpoint, is that they are the best team at taking care of the ball.
Well,
but right now they've started and burped it up 3 times already.
Fabian Krislovic starting today for Jesse Edwards. Doyle's pass knocked away. Kendrick Davis pulls up in transition. That's a bold move early. Their shooting woes continue. Delaney trying coast to coast once more. Got his own rebound.
He's inspired.
They all look inspired so
He's been playing really good basketball over the past 5 or 6 rounds, Jack, and it took him some time to figure out where he slotted in with Melbourne United on the offensive end, and you can see he's really good at getting that ball off the rim or off the turnovers and pushing it and creating opportunities for himself, Drew.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a 0-6 start for the Sydney Kings. And they haven't scored in 3.5 minutes of play. That is hard to do in this league with the talent that's available.
Well, last night we saw Tasmania get off to a horrendous start up in Cairns. I think they got down 10-0 or 13-0, and they were able to stabilize, lock in defensively, and come away with a 13-point victory of their own. And now the challenge is on Sydney to do something similar.
This is the same Sydney team who shot 56% from the field on Friday against the Wildcats.
Whoa.
Krebs with the wraparound. 10-0 start for Melbourne United. Let's check in with Kelsey courtside.
Well, Andrew Gaze, do you want the good news or the bad news first?
I'll take the good news, please.
Tyson Walker is not on minutes restrictions. Unfortunately, Shea Illy still is. So same time that we saw against Adelaide the other night.
Yeah, that could have been an offensive foul as well, but finally they get a bucket. Well, the fans can sit down. But Derek, we spoke to Dean Vickman before the game, and he had a sense of frustration, not just about the minutes restriction on Shea Illy, but also in their preparation. He's saying that their sports sciences, he can't even have any sort of physical contact the day before a game.
And it's interesting, Andrew, because if I go back to our playing careers, I often look forward to that practice the day before the game because you knew it was just basically 5-on-5. It was short, it was sharp. You usually got to play against the bench and try and give them a touch-up.
That's right.
Poor bench.
No, but it is, and that's just, and it's not just the Melbourne United these days. I've heard that similar story from a number of different teams as they try to manage their players.
I think, though, that's out of play. It sounds like that's a growing trend in all sports. It's not just a basketball thing.
Jack,
don't yell at me. I'm not the sports science guy.
But Jack, this is just a casual observation. Back in our day, and I know people hate hearing us say it, we did a hell of a lot more and had less injuries. It just doesn't seem to make sense.
No arguments from me. It's out of bounds off the leg of Chris Golding.
And by and large, players want to play. And players are willing to sacrifice their own well-being at times just for the opportunity to play and excel.
11-2 Melbourne lead. John Cain Arena, the venue for Sunday Hoops. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, Kelsey Brown. Great to have your company as Kawat Noi thought he was fouled. Shot the lights out on Friday, and he continues here.
Well, apparently he had a meeting with Coach Brian Gorgon as Golden comes off a little handoff, no good. But Noi had a meeting with Gorgon, worked some things out, and that led to that fantastic performance out in Perth. He is a real game changer for the Sydney Kings.
6 of 8 from long range against the Wildcats. Shooting it at 31% for the season. Kendrick Davis, that is a foul, and that will count.
And just like that, they're back in the game. Kendrick Davis, who's starting to look for the 3-ball more now, Drew. Remember, he was an effective to good 3-point shooter last season for Adelaide. As we look at the Amy replay, Noi does a good job here in setting him up. I'm sorry, this is the first replay. He works off of that handoff, picks and pops, and knocks down the 3, and then Davis.
Well, you're spot on, and even with that explosive game on Friday against the Perth Wildcats, where he was spectacular from the 3-point line, he's still only shooting at 30% from there. So across the career, he's 35, so he is capable of a lot more.
Well, early in the first 3 rounds, he was down in the teens.
Yeah, and you see there with that one, and how you got to look at it, the reaction from Brian Gorgon. It was, you know, he's very emotional, but very rarely do you see the fist pump. But that was a double fist pump, and really.
Good job, good job.
Well, being down 10-0 and getting it back to 11-9 will certainly get your emotions going early, Drew.
And this is a team that didn't start well, but all of a sudden, Derek, they've won 5 of their last 7, Sydney, and they're putting themselves in the conversation.
But when you talk about starts in that game on November 3rd where they beat Melbourne here, they got 30 points on the board in the first quarter.
Chris Golding gets the line. A lot of ball by Xavier Cooks. Caught it. Hands foul. If anything, it might have been a push. But Chris Golding's an interesting one for me. And watching him throughout his entire career, he's coming off the bench right now. To me, he's the sort of guy that responds better when he's starting. He's warmed up. He's got his shot going. And then he's got to sit for the first 5 minutes of the contest.
Well, we just saw him miss one, which is rare.
That's his 4th missed free throw of the season so far. He'll be at Hoops Fest. Derek will be at Hoops Fest. Drew will be at Hoops Fest. You can be there too. And you can win. Flights, 7 nights at Com, courtside seats, the whole works. Just scan that QR code. It was on your screen. That is coming up in January. Can't wait for that one in the West.
Before shot. Right.
I'll be out there for the duration of it. Andrew, I think, is just on a fly-in, fly-out schedule.
Go basket. Here we go. Good side here.
Next play.
When Derek says he'll be there for the duration, Andrew, does that mean that he goes 4 days early and stays 3 days late?
Well,
because that's generally how things roll.
He's mellowed in his older age. So
Thank you.
He's a little marginally more responsible.
Apparently the 2-hour time difference means he's got to go 3 days early to acclimatise.
Yeah.
Kawat Noi, explosive off the bounce. Tough finish through contact too. 1 point game.
I love how he set himself up before the catch to get into a sprint dribble position. Stepped out of bounds.
Back.
Is the game starting to turn a little bit here?
Well, it is. After an explosive start by Melbourne United, the Sydney Kings have got their offense going.
You have just joined us. It was a 10-0 start for Melbourne United. Brian Gorgon had to burn an early timeout, but it worked. And Tyson Walker, not out there on Friday night because of concussion protocols, cleared to play this afternoon. They needed that.
And that was an example of what Noi's doing on the on the weak side.
Yeah.
He didn't go over and help. He's locked in. It's just guarding Chris Golding. And as such, he wasn't there for the rotation and the help. And Bruce from the 3-point line. Now, his minutes have been a little inconsistent as well. He gives a little how you going to Tyson Walker.
Yep. When he knocks down a 3-ball, we got things going on over the court, all over the court.
Chris Golding in full qual all of a sudden.
Chris, nothing. Just listen. I got it.
Hey,
This seems like part of the personality of what...
Focus, Chris. Don't put me in a position where
And look at Bull just hovering in his
Let's go.
personal space.
Still going, these two.
And this is one of the great individual matchups in the NBL. It's gone on for a number of years. Bull Qual against
look,
Chris Golding.
Absolutely zero concern about the ball.
Yep.
Just completely locked into Chris Golding.
Delaney off target, offensive rebound, Bowen. Delaney has been a huge factor in this game early on. Has got 8 points.
Just a shrewd signing in the offseason to go after Finn Delaney by Melbourne United.
We'll get back to that matchup in a second. Courtside for the second time around finds himself open, puts Sydney in front, and now Dean Vickerman wants to chat about it.
And he needs to, because Courtside has just come out and gone completely booked up. He's 4 of 4 with 10 points and turned the game back around for the Sydney Kings.
Well, that's a 17-6 run by the Kings. And with the two great instigators out there with Sean Bruce and Bull Qual, they're kind of under the skin of United.
Speaking of Bull Qual, Kelsey Brown caught up with him pre-game.
All 1-1 with Melbourne United on the season. Do you love coming in for this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, it's another game. It's a second game of a 3-game stretch that we have, so we want to win today.
For you personally, there's a fine line that you walk between making a statement defensively and also just walking away with foul trouble. How do you walk that line?
I mean, I just do what I can. I can't control the refs. I try to be consistent every night.
Just to mention off the back of this, I also asked him if he gets physically into his opponent or whether he mentally or verbally gets into them, and he told me that he doesn't verbally get into him, but we've just seen the opposite happen with Chris Golding.
Well, I think what happens, Kelsey, is the physical starts first.
Yes.
Your opponent gets a little bit angry, so he gets a little lippy, and then he comes back with a bit lippy. So...
I hear you, Drew, trying to provide a diplomatic stance.
What is this like, though, for... I mean, you two would have had this many a time over your career where a defender's really up and in your space. What do you do in that situation?
Well, you want the ball as soon as possible to shut that guy up and get a bucket on him.
Well, right now, with the way Bull Qual is playing, my eyes are lighting up if I'm out there, because I reckon I've got him on backdoor cuts every single time as Dash Daniels comes in. But with that type of chronic overplay and denial, you do become a little more vulnerable to a back cut.
Nice pass from Cooks. Finds Sean Bruce.
Well, they found their rhythm on the offensive end, and Kendrick Davis will get set to check back in with his backcourt mate Delvedova, and this is crazy off-the-ball defense by Bull Qual. He's basically hugging Golding and opening up that weak side action.
Well, there's pros and cons, isn't there? Like,
Yeah.
he's taking Chris Golding out, but you're now playing 4-on-4, and there's far less help and a lot more space.
Galloway loses the handle. Matthew Delvedova, Kendrick Davis check back in. So we've just seen Chris Golding just go straight to the corner, and that's where he's been standing. Are you two suggesting that he should be on the move more, Chris Golding?
Well, right now, if you think, one of the great compliments you can have is what type of decoy you can be. And right now, Chris Golding is the ultimate decoy, because he's dragging a defender completely out of the play. So if you've got your system now and you say, well, okay, if Chris, you sacrifice, you sit there in the corner, we'll play 4-on-4 and we're going to score. And he's just said, go back to the same play to try to get to see if Bull Qual is going to help.
Coppins lost the handle. Kendrick Davis got a little hand in the lane too. Coppins makes up for the error though. Walker for Krislovic on the move. He's fouled. Xavier Cooks got his money's worth there, and that'll be too early for Cooks. Melbourne on the line.
And unfortunate there for Sydney, they weren't able to convert. Melbourne United did a pretty good job of contesting Kendrick Davis in transition as he tried to score. And then the Kings were slow getting back, leaving Krislovic open underneath the basket. He drew the foul to go to the line to shoot two. And a tough one to predict how this is going to play out, Andrew, based on the momentum at the moment.
Well, you're looking for a lot of the statistical categories where you want to see the energy levels, and right now rebounding is a huge one. It's 13-5, and the free throws. United have been to the free throw line. That's 8 free throws they've had to 1. So they're being aggressive at the rim, and although they haven't shot the 3 ball, 0 of 5, they're finding other ways to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Dellavedova's lob intercepted. Krislovic saw it coming. It's turnover number 5 for Sydney in the first quarter. As Drewy said, they're normally so careful with the basketball. Coppins can't score.
Yeah, I reckon right now they're happy to play 4-on-4.
Well, it's working to their favor, Andrew.
Yeah. That's what he just, Chris Golding just come and said exactly that to Dean Vickerman.
And that time, instead of sitting in this left corner as he has been, Chris Golding, he lifted high, more down split line towards half court, and that really opened up the floor for Sydney to attack. So that might be something Dean Vickerman goes to as well, as we're going to get a substitution, and Finn Delaney will get back into the game for the shooter.
It's really interesting, Derek, to watch this playing out courtside, and hopefully we're painting the best picture we can, because this Bull Quoll Chris Golding thing is not something we see every game, but Chris Golding has basically gone to Melbourne and said, leave me out here and I will stay out of the way because that's what's best.
And it's interesting to see how long Brian Goorjian will stick with such defense as Davis pulls up from deep, knocks it down again. Wow. Kendrick Davis, 7 points, 2 of 3 from deep.
And I reckon Brian Goorjian has looked at some of the data and he's seen that in the last 12 games against Sydney, when Chris Golding gets 20 plus, they win.
Right.
So he's...
heads up, Drew.
I'm not involved in the game.
Nice catch right there by a young lady courtside. Caught it in her hands, Drew.
But that is a big number. When you look at all the trends that the coach will go through, they've won each of their last 12 games when Chris has had 20 plus.
Yep.
So take Chris out, then you'd think you've got a chance.
That wasn't far away from you, was it? Are you confident you was caught that clean, even now?
No, absolutely. I'll have my feet set for a shot.
And Davis, no good. Dellavedova, right place, try to bank it home. Here's Golding, finally found some space and got away from Bull Quoll with his first made bucket of the afternoon.
He's done a great job this season to get into the bucket. His three-point numbers aren't as high as they normally are. He only shooting about 34%.
Jim Suarez more than capable. Can't connect. Rebound Goodrick. Suarez scores. And we'll take one last look at it. But at first glance, it looked good.
It did.
Nice offensive rebound by Hunter Goodrick, who's done a good job this season coming in late for the Kings.
We'll check the score, but at this stage it counts. 25-24. Quarter time here at John Cain Arena, and it didn't take long for things to get super tense between these two teams.
Yeah.
And that is going to count. So the scoreline is exactly the way that it reads. A point the difference at quarter time here at John Cain Arena. Melbourne United and the Sydney Kings going head-to-head on Sunday Hoops. We have got ourselves a big game, and it's brought to you, as always, on Sundays by Choice Hotels.
Yeah, good push. Yes, sir. Come on, man. That's how you start a game. Yeah, Finn. Finn, 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 Finn. Finn, Finn, Finn. Pin, pin. Get some softs now. Let's get some softs. Hit on the rim. Hustle, hustle. Get back here, get back here. Take it, take it, take it. Good pass, boys, good pass.
Quarter time at John Cain Arena. Melbourne United 25, Sydney 24. The Kings fighting back from a 10-0 start to the game. And it's tense, it's tough, and there's a lot going on out here, Derek.
They did a good job to get back in the game, Jack, but there are two glaring problems for the Sydney Kings. Firstly, Melbourne United are beating them in the paint by +10. And secondly, and Drewy, you'll love this one, the rebounding count. Yeah. Milton Doyle takes a hit. It's 14-8 already in favor of Melbourne United.
Well, and also as an example of the turnovers, I think it's a 10-0 advantage in fast break points. So Melbourne United have been able to get out and pick up some cheapies. Given all that, for Sydney to only be down a bucket, or a point even, it's they've weathered a storm early on.
There's that fast break point stat on the bottom part of the screen. Kelsey Brown, you're listening to Brian Gorshin.
And no surprises, he spoke about just that. He said defensively we need to get far better at our defensive transition. On the offensive end, after a slow start, Gorge was much happier to get the pace more on their terms. And you'll see Malawatch starts this term. Bull Quall is sent to the bench, but don't be surprised when Chris Goulding comes back on if he treks straight back in.
For sure, if that's the strategy they're going to take. But Gorge might be just saying, hey, boys, yes, we've got to keep the ball away from him, but your teammates might occasionally need a bit of a chop out.
You don't have to follow into the toilet bowl. Just give the man a little bit of space. Kendrick Davis up top for Dellavedova. Kawhi Noy was the spark for Sydney in the first quarter. Great D, though, from Krislovic. Shaylee had it and then lost it.
Great hands.
And his pocket picked by his former teammate. Davis for Malawatch. Krislovic does it again.
I think this might be United.
They're going to talk this over, Drew. That was one of those strange plays where Malawatch goes up. Krislovic does a good job of staying vertical. That should have been Melbourne United's basketball.
Yeah.
That's a miss. Dellavedova off the inbound.
A miss and a costly one.
A blown call, and then you get punished with a 3-ball.
I'm assuming that our headphones didn't pick up what Dean Vickerman just said to us while he was standing next to us. Scores tied at 27. Mention the lead changes between these two teams when they played so far this season. They're at it again. 2 on the clock for Krislovic. And they continue to get 2 feet in the paint and continue to shoot free throws.
Brian doesn't like it. He's thinking about reviewing, and he's gone to his video guy. The thing about that, and this is where you sometimes see some anomalies in the rules, in the last 2 minutes, you can have a look. The officials can go and check it out. A call like that can be just as important in the first half as it can be in the last 2 minutes.
And that's a great point you make there, Andrew. And it's tough, right? Because you know how I am anti-challenge in the first half. And you know my theory and my proposal. If you challenge in the first half, Jack, and you don't win it, you should lose at second half timeout.
No, that's a big tune.
I think it's fine.
I think he's going a little.
Of course you think it's fine. It's your idea.
OTT. But sometimes you're better off, even if you don't want the referees to guess.
Right.
But because the coaches have got a challenge, 80% sure it's this way, so I'll go with that and give the coach a right to challenge.
Melbourne lead by 2. 7 points so far for Kendrick Davis. Slicing through like a hot knife through butter. And he draws a foul of his own.
Well, he's adapted to what's needed in this ball club, and he's been outstanding since the Kings have gone on
this 5-2-1 loss streak in the last 7, average 24 in that duration, and he's really taken on the team as his now, Drew.
Yeah, it's he's got that, I sense anyway, I don't know him well at all, but he's got that seemingly the body language, he's got that leadership type persona.
Let's go, watch out. Stop coming.
He takes care of both. Kendrick Davis averaging 23 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists.
It's a concern right here. Quatnoi walks off holding his elbow.
And on his shooting arm as well.
Purple 1.
And Drew, we haven't seen it yet, as Davis now has 2 fouls. We haven't seen it yet from Dean Vickerman. And a lot of it will be due to the fact that Shea Illy is still on minutes restriction, but I'm looking forward to when they're able to play Illy and Walker together.
Yeah.
Perhaps even Starkin in my eyes.
It's been 8 games since they have played together in the same team. Shea Illy and Tyson Walker. Tim Delaney just continues to be an offensive threat. First player for Melbourne in the double figures. He's got 10.
And he's so efficient, 4 of 6, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Great pass there by Sean Bruce.
And Malawatch obliges. Kings back in front. Another lead change.
This is a sharp game, Drew.
It is. This is 2 high-quality teams going head-to-head. And it is... Melbourne United's attack on the rim has been clearly a strategy that they feel like that they can get an advantage of it.
Cooks loses it, knocks it back to the advantage of Bruce. Malawatch with his feet set again, not that time though.
Drew, any concerns about leaving Davis on the floor with 2 fouls?
Not right now. I think that he's smart enough to, should be smart enough anyway to play with that.
We've had these discussions for decades, and I'm still not sure on your stance of the 2 fouls in the first half yet.
I don't think it's a hard rule. I think it depends on who it is.
Okay.
Some people you can trust more than others.
I'll log that one into the chip, Jack.
Davis cross court for Bruce, and then Xavier Cooks turned his back on it. Bruce made the decision late to pass, and nobody was home. Krebs gets that one to roll through. And Kelsey, some concerns for Courtside.
Yes, it's an elbow concern, but he got challenged at the ring. He fell hard on it, and he'd been writhing in pain on the sideline. He's now gone back of house with the doctor to get it checked out, so I'll keep you updated with that one.
That's the last thing they need. He's their leading scorer in the game. 10 points on 4 of 5.
Sydney is starting to get really good looks. Sorry, Jack. They just got to convert. Malawatch had an open 3 the possession previous to Cooks' miss on the last one.
Scoreless so far, Xavier Cooks. Bruce doesn't get that to drop. Goodrick on the offensive glass. Knows his role and is finding a way to get more minutes in this Sydney Kings lineup. He's played 10 or more minutes his last 4 games, Hunter Goodrick.
And Milton Doyle has gone into a full court type defensive approach on Kendrick Davis as well, trying to deny at all costs.
Let's have another look at it here. It's the elbow for Courtside.
Gee, didn't look like anything happened. No. Oh, on the floor when he put his hand down, that looked nasty.
Davis thought he was fouled. Golding's got the outnumber and then misses Walker altogether. Right idea, but it's turnover number 6 for Melbourne United. Timeout Sydney. Drama really starting to build.
A little miscommunication between the 2 guys there, Golding and Walker. And that leads to a Melbourne United turnover. Sydney doing just enough to hang in the game. Melbourne United are shooting really well from the field, 52%. But Drew, they've got 7 turnovers.
Yeah, which is credit to the Sydney Kings. They've been good. Their defensive pressure is having an impact. And the Kings, after a rough start from turning it over, they've only got 6.
And keep in mind, there's some inside information. The Sydney Kings didn't arrive into Melbourne until late last night, as we see
Hey, we know
Beck
her.
Allen worked with her last night. Terrific person, great commentator, sublime basketball talent, and she's sitting in the Reebok seats, Jack.
She sure is. Danielle Weber, alongside her, a famous Melbourne-based artist, has done some amazing work in recent times. She's painted Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Rock.
Drew had something to say, Jack. Can you let him get off his chest?
No, not at all. I just noticed that was, I think it's Dad John, who I met him before the start of the game.
Yep.
So good to see bringing her dad along to the contest in the premier seats.
Premium seats, those Reebok seats, they're very
Premium
nice.
seats.
Yeah.
And Drew, we've been fortunate over the past few days to cover games in Adelaide where we had a packed house, over 10,000 were there Friday night for a great game. And then this one right here is shaping up to be a terrific contest. Packed house here at John Cain Arena.
That is going to become a real advantage for the Adelaide 36ers, that venue, I think. The Adelaide Entertainment Centre, I was watching Friday night, and it looked like it was pumping through the screen.
Hey, Drew, can you tell Jack who the real advantage is?
Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, I know him. I've heard of him. I heard he's pretty good as well. Full qual out of the timeout, scores for Sydney.
Yeah.
Back to a one-point game.
Oof.
Adelaide 36ers will play Sydney on Wednesday. Their next assignment at the Ignite Cup in Canberra at AIS Arena. Tyson Walker.
There's an example of Davis making sure that there was no chance of picking up that third and created an easy shot for Walker.
So do you go back to that again?
I'd be going at Davis right now to test his resilience on the defensive end and how much he wants to tempt fate of picking up that third foul.
Correct, and Xavier Cooks also has 2 fouls, and now Suarez will come in and replace him, so Brian Gorgon showing a little bit more faith in Davis with 2 fouls than he did with Cooks. And that's probably somewhat understandable. Point guards tend to be a bit more in control.
Do they really? Galloway, no good. Goodrick gets after it again. Creates another look for the Kings. Only for Qual to lose possession. Delaney takes off.
Yeah.
He draws a second foul on Tim Suarez.
For a big man, Andrew, he's able to play at such pace and with good control of the basketball. And then he's so strong in the upper body, creates contact, and seemingly is able to maintain his own balance.
Yeah, it was the left arm that brought him undone. Got into the back of Delaney. Harlem Globetrotters, they still remember going to watch them at Kooyong when I was about 8 or 9 in the outdoors.
Yep.
And they were still able to do the most incredible, hit the most incredible shots. And the confetti in the bucket. Oh, that could make you laugh.
Great gag. Great gag.
100 years of the Harlem Globetrotters. They're coming out across Australia and New Zealand. At Kooyong, you say?
Yeah. I was about 9 or 10.
Whoa!
Oh, that's a nasty hit. Oh, on the head by Dellavedova. Dellavedova took a blow as he landed.
He did. He almost somersaulted, and his neck and head were in a very compromised position. And as a result of that, Tyson Walker receives a cruncher-type hit to his neck.
Now, just keep in mind, too, Tyson Walker's just returned from concussion protocol. This is his first game back.
Let's go.
He seems to be okay.
Let's go.
You wonder whether Melbourne may need to just do a quick assessment with him. Good news for Sydney, Matthew Dellavedova okay as well.
We rarely see a play like that out on the floor. Usually that's underneath the hoop when guys are going to score, but that was off of a pass. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
The Suarez hit on Walker was the one as he set the screen, and it was just an unfortunate knock to the head.
Kelly got to a nice spot, backed his way in, couldn't convert from it.
They called an offensive foul on Walker.
He leaned into the...
Or was it on Bowen, Drew?
Was it on Bowen?
Bowen's screen was illegal.
Yeah, so there's the explanation. Let's have a listen.
Well, he got the double whammy because they called a foul on him, and he also received a Matthew Dellavedova knee into his quad. So
there's a lot of contact out there for both teams. No call for Suarez. Andrew Bogut on the Sydney Kings bench is headless at the moment. Bowen found Golding. Wrap around and scores.
And that's the play I was talking a little earlier about, where you could run to free yourself up if you're Chris Golding because of the attempt to deny him the catch.
Melbourne by 7. That's the most that they've led by for quite a while. Bull tees it up and draws the bottom of the net.
That's a big hit there, Drew, because Sydney have looked unorganized on the offensive end since Davis has gone out of the game.
Yeah, the three-point shooting numbers on screen, Derek. Sydney 8 of 15. They shot it.
Well, it's been a
very similar number on Friday night. They were 15 of 35. Melbourne are yet to knock down a three-ball.
Yeah, that's unusual for this Melbourne team, but I think it's a lot of that's got to do with the defensive strategy. You can clearly see that Sydney have come out with the approach to run them off the three-point line, and they might have been exposed a little at the rim, but they've certainly taken away the threes.
Don't love that early shot there by Galloway.
Not sure Brian Gorgon did either. Walker top of the key. Rattles out. And their dry spell continues.
He's shooting at about 32% from deep. He's had some patches where he's been really hot, others where he's cold. Speaking of which, Dellavedova knocks down his second three ball.
Kings bring themselves back within one. Matthew Dellavedova starting to get going now. Has 6 points.
Half finish.
Both teams continuing to explore early in the offense. Jalen Galloway buries that one and scores it tied at 43.
Drew, I'm not going to say that was a good shot either. The only difference is you knock him down. The Amy replay, it tells the story. Delly comes off that ball screen, and it seems like he's better when he comes off to his left, and then Galloway, one dribble step back, knocks it down. Sydney staying in this game off the back of excellent three-point shooting, 10 of 18 in that category.
Kyle Bowen's mic'd up for us this afternoon. 2:29 remaining in the half. Let's take a listen.
And one! Yeah, TK! Good job. Good push, good kick in. Elite work, Fab. Elite work. Keep in you. Ken, watch the three. Circle two. Let's go. We're good. Fellas, we're good. Right, next play.
Both coaches laying down the law, 43 apiece. Coming into this game, Melbourne had lost 3 in a row. Kelsey said it off the top of the broadcast, and it was a great point, Derek, that so many of the experts, so many of those who were asked for their opinions pre-season said that this was Melbourne's championship to lose. And maybe for the first time this season, we are seeing a few holes in their game.
Well, I'm not going to lie and act like I wasn't a part of that cohort. I thought that Melbourne United had no apparent weaknesses, but it's funny, Andrew, how the NBL season can expose and expand any cracks that you have, and we're seeing them over the past 9 games with United.
I took a little while to buy in because I wasn't as sure about Walker and Edwards, but I had them as a highly ranked team. But I had Adelaide pre-season, but when they went 9-0, it looked like the formula was there, so I certainly jumped on that bandwagon. But this Sydney Kings team, they're averaging 28 threes a game, attempts. They've already taken 18. And why wouldn't you when they're shooting at 55%? A lucky tip by Chris. Look, gets the roll.
Sydney have done a good job in this game of staying competitive as Galloway attacks and kicks it out.
Nice pass too for Suarez. Back to Galloway, who's ultra aggressive. He couldn't cash in.
Xavier Cooks has not done much. He's got no points and no rebounds thus far.
And that'll be off. It's a leg of Finn Delaney. Kelsey, you were listening in.
to Dean Vickerman, and he said the 3-ball is so important. Keep trusting the help that you've got. We've been awesome at protecting the paint, but that D from beyond the arc is still an issue, as it has been across their season. They did talk about Kendrick Davis having those 2 fouls, so expect them to run at him a little bit. Yeah, and that was certainly something that a lot of teams have looked at, and for whatever reason, teams are shooting it well from the 3-point line against Melbourne United.
Here's Galloway.
Got bonus. Black. 35, 40.
Foul will be on Doyle for a hole.
And you talk about Xavier Cooks, and you're spot on, Derek. He's 0 of 2. Now, he's only played the 10 minutes. He's got the 2 fouls, so he's maybe one of those that Brian's been a little bit more conservative with the 2 fouls.
So, and where are your arms in that story?
Right now, the Kings go to the line where Melbourne United have shot 13 more free throws thus far in this game.
If you're Melbourne United, you're looking up and you've got a narrow margin, maybe even tied up, and you look at your 3-point shooting where you're 0 of 10, you feel like that there's got a lot of upside, because you're not going to, well, it's highly unlikely you're going to go the game without knocking down a few threes.
You know, Drew, as we look at the halftime break that's coming up, and on the other side of it, you know, if I'm Dean Vickerman, I might roll the dice just to see what it looks like and go with Ely, Walker, Golding, Doyle, and Delaney as my starting lineup. Don't really have to worry about interior scoring by the Kings.
Yeah, they need to change something, Melbourne. They've lost quarter number 3 in their last 5 games. It's been their Achilles heel in recent times.
Jack, that's why you're the best. You come up with the stat to make me look good.
Well, Milton
it's not
Doyle,
just a suburb, Derek.
Black ball. 8 seconds. 8 seconds.
Milton Doyle 0 of 4. He's really only 0 of 2. I think 2 of those field goal attempts was when he was lying on the floor. 0 of 5 now.
That's a good battle between Delvedova and Ely. And it will continue.
2 absolute terriers. They play every game like it's the most important thing that's ever existed. Bullquall steps out of play.
But there is a level of comfort with the amount of these 2 guys who've been together in a practice environment over the last 3 years, that that familiarity does help as we take a look. Did he actually step on the line?
While all that was going on, Brian Goorjian had been warmed, and he's run out of warnings. Technical foul.
Well, I thought on Bullquall's penetration there was contact that may have warranted a foul, and you believe that he didn't actually step out of bounds.
Well, my eyes aren't great, and it was close, so the ref's right there, so I believe that was the right call. But you're right, there was some contact that was clearly evident on that replay.
And Drew, for Vaughn Mayberry to call a technical foul on Brian Goorjian. Is that out of bounds? That is not out of bounds. Good eyes, Andrew. Let's see what happens with the next foot, though, before I pat you on the back.
No, the next foot was the right foot. That was 30 centimeters in.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the third, though.
That's very good by you. We're a long way away from that. Still 2020, my friend.
Yeah, that was a legacy technical foul blown there by Vaughn Mayberry. One of the most decorated officials in NBL history, and of course we know Brian Goorjian's history.
Well, that's right. In isolation, what he said, probably move on, but it was the accumulation of feedback that Brian was provided that they'd had enough.
Krislovic with a handoff to Doyle. Got away from Galloway and then banks it home. He's had a challenging first half, Milton Doyle. That's his first field goal of the game.
He's so good at that 1-foot runner, and Galloway actually got a piece of that ball. Joel did a good job to finish.
Dellavedova to tie it back up. He can't connect.
Vickerman calls for 1 shot.
Shot clock switched off. This is a genuine arm wrestle. We shouldn't expect anything different between these 2 teams.
Purple, be on the arm.
Oh, my.
And the foul will be on Dellavedova with 1.1 seconds left.
Oh, it was on Daly, was it?
That's his first, but it comes at a costly time.
Xavier Cooks.
There was so much contact in that scrum there, just around the top of the key. Look at all of that.
Yeah, you see the reach over the arm by Daly, so good call. Real heart palpitation by Xavier, because he was in the vicinity. Had a very snapped his neck, making sure that it
2.3.
foul wasn't on him.
2.3 on the clock. It's got to be changed now.
Second and a bit added to the clock, 2.3.
Let's go. One shot.
Is all that we've got left in this first half. It's been an absorbing battle. Illy connects on both. Galloway from halfway decided to pass. Last shot won't count. 5-point lead to Melbourne United at halftime, 50-45. Brian Goorjian still wanting to argue his point with the officials on the way off, but this has been some sort of contest so far, and it sets it up for a huge second half here at John Cain Arena, 50-45. Let's get over to Kels.
I'm here with Finn Delaney. Finn, a much improved first half from you guys scoring-wise. How have you seen the offensive end?
The offensive end, yeah, pretty good. When we're playing with pace, I think we're good.
What about defensively, the three-point line? You've been a struggle for all year. They're shooting well at the moment. How are you going with that?
I think you answered that. Yeah, we've got to defend the three-point line better. It's a few rebounds, but yeah, I think we'll be better.
Thanks for your time. 50 plays, 45. Melbourne United lead 5 points to the Sydney Kings. 2 heavyweight champions going up against it on Sunday afternoon hoops. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the Hungry Jacks halftime highlights right after this.
Want to hook up you and your mates with the ultimate NBL VIP experience?
Here's what Bunnings has got for your crew.
To hook up you and 4 mates, enter now.
been a fierce and physical first half here at John Cain Arena. First game of a doubleheader here today on Sunday afternoon hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's Melbourne United leading the Sydney Kings by 5 at the half. And Derek Rucker, there's your halftime stats.
And this is a great contest between two teams that are getting it done in different manners. Right now, Melbourne United are 17 for 20 inside the three-point line, and look at the dominance at the free throw line, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's a classic matchup, three-pointers or non-three-point scoring.
And the Sydney Kings, in contrast, 5 of 19 from the twos and 10 of 20 from three. So it's that inside-outside, and a lot of it's by design because of what the defense, they're taking what the defense is giving them, and as such, we've seen the Sydney Kings being able to light it up from the three-point line, and Melbourne United, their ability to get to the rim has been exceptional.
Well, Melbourne United, Finn Delaney is our halftime highlights. Finn Delaney's got 12 points. He hasn't really stood out, but potentially a decent game from him so far.
Well, he continues to attack the paint, Kelsey, and that's what he's been really good at this season. He's starting to improve as a three-point shooter, so I wouldn't be surprised if the second half we see a lot more of that from Delaney, but his contribution has been invaluable in this first half as we look at his Blackmore's player profile.
Yeah, he's a high-quality player. He can beat you in so many ways, but you're right, Kelsey's done it in a somewhat unassuming way because he's just been able to get out in transition and get his head down and finish at the rim. One thing that the Sydney Kings need to do is tidy up their work on the glass as well, because that is a very telling factor.
Well, one thing that they are doing really well, and we just spoke about it, was their shots from the three-point line. How have you seen Sydney's first half?
Well, they're 10 of 20, which is great. Is it sustainable, Andrew? Probably not, but they've got to continue with it because right now there's just nothing inside from them. And I thought that with Kendrick Davis out there, he would have been able to penetrate and find more opportunities inside. But no, they've just relied on this right now, and we'll see how it goes. They've got a little bit of foul trouble to deal with, but even Delhi's knocked down a couple from deep.
Well, they've got to do it at both ends. Can they continue to shoot the three ball like that, but also can they stop Melbourne United? 0 of 11, highly unlikely they're going to go over from the three-point line. So they've got their work cut out for them as we look at the shot chart, and that's stereotypically of what you're going to see. Inside the paint or threes. Nothing really in the mid-range with the exception of that one elbow jumper. And that's the way the game's played these days according to the analytics.
Well, we've got one more half to play here, but there is another game coming up after us here. It's Brisbane at home, and they are taking on the Perth Wildcats coming off that tough loss last game. Brisbane Bullets take on the Perth Wildcats, 4:30 p.m. right after this. But I have to ask you guys, a half of basketball to play. Who takes this one out?
Oh, boy, Kelsey, I know that Sydney loved playing here in this venue. I'm going to say the Sydney Kings get it in a tight one, Drew.
I'd say this is a toss of the coin one, just to be different, not because I've justifiably on any basis, but I guess given that they've got a 5-point lead and their record this season, they have not lost Melbourne United when they've led at halftime. So that's why I'm sticking with Melbourne United.
Well, the best thing is that one of you will be right, one of you will be wrong, and I can't wait to tell you that you were wrong, one of you. Let's get to the break straight after this. We've got 20 more minutes of Sunday afternoon hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Melbourne United lead Sydney Kings by 5.
Davis puts him in a spin cycle.
How do you stop that?
If you look at my track record of my high school career, my college career, all the way to my professional career, like, I expect greatness.
Davis for the win. He got it! He got it!
I was All-American in college. Like, I won Player of the Year 2 out of the 3 years. I lead my conference in all-time in points, assists, steals. I mean, the G League, I was top 5 in assists, I averaged 20 points a game, so success and was not nothing new.
Davis will take it all the way, the speed!
The bar is always set high. I mean, the work I put in every summer, I honestly would say I'm probably the hardest worker in the NBL, and I'm willing to bet, you know, my salary on it. I mean, I'm blessed, though. I was able to stay healthy. I'm blessed Adelaide believed in me, gave me that opportunity to showcase who I was on a global standpoint. Yeah, man, I'm just blessed that some people took chances on me.
It's Kendrick Davis goes right down low.
Athleticism at its best. That's Kendrick Davis.
He has made such an incredible impact since he's arrived here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Runner-up in the MVP last season to Bryce Cotton. And when the votes get counted at the end of the season, you would imagine that Kendrick Davis will once again be high in the MVP voting.
He certainly will, and I can attest to his words. I spent some time with him in the offseason down in Houston, Texas, and I got to see firsthand what type of work he puts in, and he gets after it. And he's a guy who's very motivated, extremely talented, and he's on a mission to help these Sydney Kings get back to the top.
My word, and it's going to be a tough one here. Here we look at the injury, because Quatnoy came on and he was explosive. When offense at the start of the game was struggling, it was he who came out and had those 10 quick points. So if he's unavailable, that's going to be a huge hole. And even if he is available,
that strapping elbow, how are
you going to extend your arm?
He's going to shoot the ball, Drew.
So we haven't heard word from Sydney yet as to whether he's out for the game, but that didn't look good. We start the third quarter, Melbourne by 5, but third quarters have been a big problem for them in recent weeks. That's a good start from the Kings.
Excellent offensive execution. Xavier Cooks, who was quiet in that first half, he never loses sight of what's important. He makes a great pass inside to Suarez, harm, and a free throw to come.
And they've been strong finishers, the Sydney Kings. One of the stats that popped up that they've won the second half 14 out of the last 17 times when they're trailing at the halftime break. So they're going to have to do it again here to give themselves a chance. And Suarez, for such a really good shooter, he is smooth from the free throw line.
He struggles against Melbourne this year, Tim Suarez. Only 6 and 7 points.
Oh, no.
In the 2 games they've played.
Jack, stop it.
Oh. I see where you're going. It took me a while for that to click in.
Yeah,
I was going to get there, but you got in the middle of it, so it sort of ruined where I was going. Thank you. I was trying to appeal to the young audience, Derek. You could be a grandfather of, to be truthful. Here's Telemanova.
Yeah, very well played.
We wouldn't rule it out. Here's Davis. Shot clock down to 6. Suarez. That's better.
And that's what you talked about, Andrew. He's an excellent three-point shooter. Looks more comfortable, actually, from 23 feet plus than he does from 15.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a good-looking stroke. It's one you've got to respect. The pick and pop, when you've got a guy like that who's can shoot it, I like to switch on those on-ball screens rather than help with the cover.
5 points in a minute for Sydney, and now a turnover. Davis trying to carve his way through. That will be a foul on Tyson Walker.
Great ball handling there by Kendrick Davis. And the referees, I thought, did a good job of seeing if he was going to actually get all the way through that seam. Once they realized the contact didn't allow him to do so, the whistle was blown. But what it did, Andrew, because they called it later, it allowed him to get into a shooting motion, and he'll go to the line and shoot too.
We certainly gathered it. I would have thought it's going to be in the act of shooting.
Now Davis and Vickerman are going to have a conversation.
Well, unless it was a real late call and maybe the foul.
Before you picked it up.
There you go. The whistle blew later.
Yeah, we'll blow it earlier next time, so I don't think I'm getting 2 and I have to feel heartbroken.
Wow. The Kings from the baseline. Melbourne haven't scored so far in the quarter.
Miss Deli.
Actually had to give it to Dellavedova over the top of Milton Doyle. What a blistering start to quarter number 3 this has been.
Dellavedova, he's ramped up his instigation. The Kings are just trying to be in everybody's junk.
They're trying to
all over the floor.
They're just trying to bully.
They're trying to punk Melbourne United.
This is a bit of a throwback to the old Southeast Melbourne Magic days. The Brian Gorgian coach teams.
Spot on, Jack. Look at Qual.
Home fans don't like it, but Melbourne are getting clearly frustrated. Krislovic short on his 3 ball.
That's a great defensive possession.
They are getting super physical here, Sydney.
Wow.
Dellavedova barging through Doyle. Gets after that loose ball. Still scrapping for it, Dellavedova. Somehow found a way. Suarez to Cooks. Sydney on fire to start the third quarter.
Pass by Matthew Dellavedova on the floor, a second away from being tied up in a jump ball. And somehow or other, he finds Suarez, who finds a wide open Cooks for the dunk.
And Andrew, I don't think it's the score that's got Dean Vickerman uncomfortable at the moment. It's the fact that how Sydney are going about it right now and trying to take over the physical dominance of this basketball game.
Yeah, and it's clearly at the halftime break, Brian Gorgian has just said, hey, get out there and test the limits of these officials, and I want everyone to be up and in playing that bull qual type defense.
It's a 9-0 start to the third quarter for Sydney. The Night Cup is just around the corner. Feb 22, the grand final, will be played at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. You can jump along as well. You can check it all out. We've got all the latest news and information by scanning the QR code. It's presented by Disney Plus. 400K up for grabs.
Cannot wait. And I saw Andrew Gaze over in the corner with NBL CEO Dave Stevenson. I'm sure Drew was lobbying to get one of the commentator roles to get up to the Gold Coast and call that game. And speaking of which, this Wednesday night, I'll actually be on the call. Sydney Kings, Adelaide 36.
Speaking of lobby, there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's a cracking. What a series Sydney Kings have got to deal with. For all intents and purposes, it's 3 road games that they've got to play.
Well, it's the rest of the league kind of competing for the 1 spot because you think New Zealand are in.
They should be there, the Breakers. Just a question of who they get. Uncharacteristic from Tyson Walker. And that's 12 turnovers in the game for Melbourne, and that's a foul. Right now, the Sydney Kings are physically and mentally all over Melbourne United.
And Kendrick Davis, he reads the game so well, Andrew, and I think he's of the opinion that there is no one in black that can check him. That's including 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, who has the assignment right now, Shea Ely.
9 points for Kendrick Davis. He surveys his options. Decided that the best look was bull qual from deep. Kings 11 of 22 from long range. Golding attracted the crowd, then gave it off to Delaney. He was denied.
Three-second call on Krislovic.
It's all happening for the Kings here.
They just totally disrupted the Melbourne United offensive flow, and this is what often happens in Andrew and our playing careers when defenses were allowed to play more of this style.
Yeah. This is a real playoff type officiated game with the amount of physical contact. There's a real fine line between bumping cutters as opposed to impeding someone's movement. And they are, as we said, testing the officials.
2 of the top 3 defensive teams in the competition. Melbourne's first score of quarter number 3.
And Illy's done a great job pushing that ball. One of the best in the league at it, and he generates an easy dunk for Delaney.
Galloway throws it away.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Kendrick Davis and Shea Ely got caught up. Davis immediately wants a challenge.
Coming across the pathway.
If the foul stands, this will be his third.
And I can't see any context where Brian Gorgian would be willing to challenge this.
Wow, that's just two guys coming together. To me, that's not a foul.
For 4
on Davis. After all the contact that goes on, they find that one, which is a little, well, who actually caused the contact?
Davis will stay out there. Nice hands, Galloway. He's never out of the action for long.
Oh.
Golding got upstairs. Blocks the shot. Incredible chase down from Chris Golding. And Davis leans in and draws a foul.
4-3. A great hustle there from Chris Golding.
He's 37 years of age.
Good timing. Goes up and presses that up against the glass. What a game.
I think Chris Golding's got a really good point.
Yep.
That's okay. I wear that foul, but give me the same one where Davis was clearly just causing the contact, swinging the arms through.
That rip-through motion into the shot that generates contact.
Round 7, the two teams played. 95-92, Sydney won. That was Melbourne's first loss of the season. It was a thriller on Cup Eve, and we are headed for something very similar here.
Kendrick Davis had 34 in that one.
Kings now lead by 5.
Wow, Wolf Ball just grabbed Golding by the waist. Looks over at his head coach, Dean Vickerman, gives him a thumbs up as to say, I got this.
Let's have a look at this. This is great camera work by our team.
It's a hold. And Bullqual slightly puts his hand straight up, said, yep, I got him.
That's a cuddle.
It's only his first foul of the game, Bullqual, so he's got plenty to play with.
Golding cuts back door. Late shot clock for Melbourne United. Davis staying in front of Illy. Got his own offensive rebound, Shea Illy. Golding up top. Hasn't been able to have the impact that he'd be after. Delaney certainly has. Hasn't stopped trying.
Well, 0 of 14. 0 of 14, Melbourne United from the three-point line. That is rare for a team like Melbourne United and the way they play.
3 for Davis, 3 for Suarez, and 3 for McQuatch Malawatch is the foul situation for the visitors.
And now we essentially got a game with no real bigs out there. You know, Delaney and Krislovic, they're hybrid guys. They're not the true bigs, I'd say, Jesse Edwards is. And Sydney is the same. Hunter Goodrick comes in, he'll play a 5. And this game really might open up here, Drew.
Keep an eye on Kawatnoy too, Drew. Back out there, heavily strapped right arm.
Let's see what he looks like when he takes a shot.
And that's tough because with your right arm, you need to follow through. You've got to be able to extend it and lock it.
Wow.
Davis all the way.
Too quick.
You've got to force him to the screen rather than away from the screen.
Maintains their 5-point lead only for a moment. Fabian Krislovic helps himself to a couple. Starting today in the absence of Jesse Edwards, who's missing with an eye injury.
Bruised retina, apparently.
To be precise. Hunter Goodrick, unsuccessful. Delaney's everywhere. Lines up Milton Doyle.
Coaches cannot throw it in the ocean from the three-point line.
0 of 15.
We've seen teams have bad patches of three-point shooting during this season as Goodrick gets that one smashed back in his face, goes again, successful. This guy keeps his head underneath the basket.
He just tries. He's just an effort guy, Hunter Goodrick.
Great description.
He's had to fight for his opportunity at the level, and he's making it count.
Now he's going to go the other end and shoot 2 free throws as Illy fouls Goodrick, chasing down that offensive rebound. And Drew, what's the energy situation right now? Which way is it leaning?
Well, right now you think it's going the way of the Sydney Kings, although they look like they're having a greater physical presence out on the floor. It's Melbourne United have got the fouls, and already Sydney are in the bonus.
You can check out Hunter Goodrick's season stats and everything else at the NBL app. Download it now via the App Store or Google Play. You can see Hunter Goodrick's NBL 1 stats from the winter as well. Played with the North Bears in the East competition, averaged 17 and 11. Under the eyes of the Sydney Kings organisation, they saw something that they liked, and he's been a more than handy pickup for them.
It's been an astute signing, and you just never know how a player is going to slide in at the next level until you give him an opportunity. So full credit to the coaching staff of the Sydney Kings for having the courage to put him on the floor.
Golding looking for a foul, nothing forthcoming, settles for the 2.
Good composure. It was good defense by Bull Qual, but he felt like that he might have got pushed off. A few words to the officials, but good recovery by Chris Golding.
Here's Bull Qual. Just the one foul to his name for the afternoon so far. Has fouled out 3 times this season, but it's been a big point, Drewy, Bull Qual, and his foul discipline.
Yeah.
Has he been better this season?
I think he has. He's been more measured, and he still does as much physicality off the ball, but is a little bit more controlled with the player with the ball.
Kawatnoy faces up on Doyle. First real test of that injured arm. Looked pretty good there. Goodrick too strong underneath. Forces Kyle Bowen out of the way.
Dean Bickerman upset with Kyle Bowen.
And he almost committed an offensive foul on the other end. He's got to be careful.
With the hustle plays, those second shots.
Goodrick's
really
got 6 offensive rebounds, Drew.
Yeah, and that's what he's there for. He knows his role. He attacking the boards and winning that battle right now. That's an offensive foul because there was the extension of the arms. That time, positionally, there wasn't too much movement, but just the extension of the arms is what brought him undone.
It slides into him. Unnecessarily, I might add. Especially that slot screen. It doesn't take much for the ball handler to create an advantage once he comes off of you. Just hold your ground, don't lean, don't ruin my opportunity to make a play.
Well, real short minutes for Kawatnoy. Yeah. He's out of the game. Looks like well, I'll give it a go, but perhaps not feeling it with that elbow injury.
Crossover from Walker. Finds Kyle Bowen. Back to 3 points, the difference now.
Melbourne need to start stacking stops.
Over from long range. It'll be a Melbourne ball. They've scored the last 2 buckets. 2:15 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Game up for grabs on Sunday Hoops.
It's tense in here. The 3 of us who covered so many games in John Cain Arena with a similar level of angst, and Doyle gets away with a push to Qual's neck.
We've seen less called this afternoon. Doyle spins on Cooks. Tough finish for Milton Doyle. He's got 9 points.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Jack, but he's got it going. He's now not just settling for the jump shot and the step back. He's getting all the way to the cup.
A point separates these 2 teams. Dellavedova, no good on the mid-range jumper. Melbourne fly down the floor to take the lead. And it doesn't drop for Tyson Walker.
Cooks needs to look to score himself now. Make a play yourself.
He tries.
Right idea, poor execution. Give it up first, then get it back.
There was a wall in front of him. Just tried to go through.
Here's Doyle starting to make a real stamp on this game in the 3rd quarter.
Might have got away with an extra step.
8 unanswered points now for Melbourne United. This is a big run of their own at the back end of quarter number 3.
Dellavedova's had some quality looks in the past few minutes. Finally gets one to drop. Better offense there by the Kings. I think there's high value in that middle cylinder action like they just ran there.
He's bowling down the lane, lays it up, nice pass from Walker. Another lead change between these two. That's been the story of the season when Melbourne and Sydney get together. Shot clock down to 10, 5-second differential between that and the game clock. Dellavedova scores. Tough in the clutch again. One last opportunity for Walker, who blows past everyone. Tipping from Chris Levick will count. Seesawing contest at John Cain Arena. It's Melbourne who take the advantage with a quarter remaining. 70-69. This is an absolute cracker here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Don't go too far.
Would you want to hustle that? I know you want to stay with... Oh, I just get out of there quick. Because I can't...
You just get out. We limit them shooting floaters.
Yeah. Go! Go! Dash! Dash! Take it, Dash! Take it! Let's go, Dash. Let's go, Dash. You should Milt. No, right. You're tough. You're tough, Milt. Yeah, Bob!
Great to hear from Kyle Bowen in the zone. 70 plays 69 here. Melbourne United lead by 1 point. And there's a few stats that stick out. 23 lead changes in this game. We knew it was going to be a tight one. But the other one is 50 inside the paint points to Melbourne United, 24 to the Kings.
Yeah, and that's a product of the three ball. They cannot make a three, Melbourne United. 0 of 15.
16. It's an unbelievable statistic, and to still be leading by a point. Suarez wide open. Battles off the front of the iron.
However, Sydney went cold in that quarter also from the three, as we'll get an offensive foul by Krizlovic in transition. And that's a careless one. We see so many of these that cause a loss of possession.
Well, I'm not sure all of them are worthy. Some of them that I think the guys are standing there and the defense is trying to fight over. They fall on the ground and they get the benefit of the doubt.
Look for Kendrick Davis to go to work in the fourth quarter. Not that time, though, and then Suarez gets a little tangled up. That'll be his fourth.
And Sydney big men. It's been a pretty dry game. Xavier Cooks with only 2 points. Suarez with 7.
Who do you look to here, Drew? If you're Brian Goorjian, who do you want the ball in their hands of the most in this fourth quarter?
Well, Davis is going to, whether he wants it or not. He's going to dominate the ball. But I think you can still find a way with Cooks getting downhill.
Yeah.
And attacking the rim. Now, they've been really good from the three-point line where they're 11 to 24, but you just don't want to live and die by the three-point line. You've got to find the balance.
Dodge. Excellent defense from Xavier Cooks. Goes from a help side position, closes out with the proper distance and gap on Finn Delaney. Reads the penetration, slides his feet, takes the contact right down the center of his chest. Textbook defense.
They've lost their last 3 games in a row, Melbourne United, to Perth, Southeast Melbourne and Adelaide. They've been really sluggish and a little disjointed since the fever break. In all of those games, they've given up good scores to big scores too, but this is more of a defensive game. Turnovers really starting to hurt them.
It's number 17, Jack. That is way too many for this Melbourne United team, who throughout the course of the season have been within a tolerable range.
Just under 12?
Tolerable range.
Mid-range in the league, yeah. Davis from outside. That misses a lot. 14 points, his contribution for the afternoon. Another offensive foul on Finn Delaney.
7 offense.
That'll be another.
It's a hot whistle out there.
Let's go.
It was the right idea. They had a switch, and they got the mismatch down low. See, there they switch. Oh, my goodness. That did not look like much at all.
Well, Delaney was signaling that it was a flop. The baseline referee did not see it that way. And a minute 45 into this final quarter, we have yet to see a score. And now Brian Goorjian will go with Dellavedova and Davis on the floor at the same time.
Out there with Cook, Suarez, and McQuatch Malawatch for Melbourne. Delaney, Krebs, Krislovic, Doyle, and Shaili, who's got the job of trying to chase around Davis. Dellavedova against his former team, hurts them again.
Good offensive execution. I love that play. A little misdirection. Davis comes back across his body and finds Dellavedova, knocks down the 3.
15 points for the afternoon for Matthew Dellavedova. We saw this in round 7. The longer the game went, the better he got. Finished that afternoon with 12.7 assists. Suarez with the size advantage, sent packing by Krislovic.
They're due for a 3-ball, Drewy.
Overdue, in fact. That's not a 3. That's only a deep 2 to Doyle. So after a rough start, he's now up to 13 points, 5 to 12.
Dellavedova tries his luck off the glass. That was a fierce one. Here's Doyle to break the drought. Melbourne back in front. Timeout, Sydney. And on attempt number 18, Melbourne hit their first 3 of the afternoon. They lead 75 to 72 on Sunday Hoops. One had to drop eventually.
And they got it off the back of a poor choice of shots from Matthew Dellavedova. Went into the 3-ball early. Was feeling good after knocking down his previous attempt. But it led to a quick burst from Melbourne United, and Doyle knocks down the first 3. They're now 1 of 18, but that one was huge.
And this is where Doyle has been renowned for stepping up. He was 0 of 6 to start the game, and now he's 6 of 13. So he's been on a 6 of 7 in his last 7 field goal attempts. And this is what he does. He steps up in big moments. He's not afraid of the big moment. Even when things aren't seemingly going his way, he has this instinct and this knack to be able to make sure that when the game's on the line, he can take responsibility and step up.
Three-point game at John Cain Arena. Our Mitsubishi Motors three-point leaders for the season. And what a beautiful automobile is Mitsubishi as well. Milton Doyle, Chris Goulding, two smooth movers climbing their way. But at the moment, it's the benchmark who leads all comers with 60 for the season.
It is, but Sobey right there at 55 now. It's getting tight.
Suarez very nearly gave that up.
See, this is where if you're Milton Doyle, you'd be thinking, with all the stuff that's been going on down the other end, that was no more or no less than what has gone unwhistled.
Dean Vickerman thinks that maybe they missed the travel.
At 1-18, the good thing if you're a Melbourne fan is they've never shot less than three-point field goal makes in a game at this venue. So in John Cain Arena, 3 is their lowest. So they've statistically got at least a couple more they should be making.
Here's Milton Doyle. It's what Melbourne went after him for in the off-season, was to start to close out games, and he's getting busy in the fourth quarter.
Tough pull-up jumper going to his right. Looked at referee Nico Fernandez asking for a foul.
He's made 7 of his last 8 field goal attempts.
Shot clock at single figures for Dellavedova, who is trying to take matters into his own hands. He's had a couple go down, but his last couple have missed. 77-72. Krislovic gets fed inside. 7-point lead to the home team. Ooh. Sydney have to burn another timeout. This is a big move from Melbourne.
It is, and Brian Goorjian recognises how big it is as we take a look at the Amy replay. And Milton Doyle coming off a 6 of 22 against the 36ers and an 0 of 6 start in this one, just has got it going big time. 7 of 14, 18 points.
And the Kings' inability, Andrew, to finish in the two-point area where they have been highly inefficient, and now the three-point shooting has dried up also. They're now 2 of 8 only in this second half and having a tough time getting their scoring going. They had that burst where they got back out into the lead, but really only 27 second half points.
He's got 15 points, Matthew Dellavedova, on 6 of 14, but it's basically been Matthew Dellavedova almost every trip down the floor in this fourth quarter, Derek. Is it too much of the one person?
Yeah, and they got caught there without Xavier Cooks on the floor. I think they've got to get him back into the lineup. They'll come back with Bull Paul also. But Kendrick Davis at 3 of 12. He's just been off, Andrew. He's made some good moves. I don't think it's been outstanding defense that's caused the 3 of 12. But he's got to convert. Sometimes it just comes down to getting the ball in the bucket.
Sydney led by 7 points midway through the third quarter. And the game was very much on their terms.
42 to 26 is the rebound count as well. That's a big difference and hard to make up.
Dellavedova off the floor. Kendrick Davis draws a whistle. Kelsey Brown, you're listening to Brian Goorjian.
Yeah, a bit of confusion and disorganisation in that Kings lineup. The main thing out of it, Andrew Bogut was like, who is in? They're a bit confused with their rotations. I'm interested to hear, Derek, what do you think about this lineup going down the stretch?
Yeah, well, obviously they're trying to buy some more time for Xavier Cooks, but I felt that he should have been on the floor, and now they'll bring him in. Melbourne United let the Kings off the hook there because they didn't have much going on in that possession. They fouled Kendrick Davis as he was about to make a pass, and he'll go to the line to get an easy 2.
And this is a long period of the game. You've got to play with fouls. Every foul now, defensive foul, is going to lead to a couple of free throws. It's 5 to 1 is the foul count in the quarter.
Interesting in that timeout, the vision of it all. Exchange. Kelsey, great pickup.
Yeah.
She was on the spots. Andrew Bogut frustrated. Kendrick Davis seemed frustrated. They just haven't quite started this fourth quarter the way that they'd like to. Davis goes down. Krislovic fouled while shooting.
That might be Suarez. That could be 5.
He falls on his foot.
It is.
And the Kings bench thought there should have been a foul on Shea Illy as he went into Davis on the penetration right there. Illy somehow gets it to Krizlovic, who draws the contact.
And that's an example of just how hard it is to make that call. Because, yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but did Davis exaggerate the contact? It's a tough decision that goes unwhistled.
And United have the free throw edge. They've been sharp from the free throw line. They're currently 19 of 22.
Second best free throw shooting team in the competition. Been an interesting discussion. Mark Arena, the Perth Wildcats owner, might have put this out in the universe to start with about the referees. Reports at back ends of games being published and made public. I saw that Matt Weston made some comments on ABC Radio on Friday in Adelaide. What do you think, Andrew Gates?
You're across it more than me.
Suarez got fouled out. You came in. Okay, no problems.
We're trying to get the substitutions right here. But it's difficult. I think, again, you want to provide a certain level of protection to the referees, but at the same time, they must be held accountable.
Well, of course they do.
There's a fine line between both, isn't there? Nice pass, Davis for Xavier Cooks.
It's an interesting lineup we're going with right now, and I think Dean Vickerman recognised it because this is about as small as you can get with Xavier Cooks running the 5. Galloway in the 4, but he plays a lot on the perimeter. And let's just want to have a look at their matchups, and we look at the Amy replay, and Davis coming in, nice find. Again, he goes away from the screen.
That was a cool little set that they had. Leads to that layup there, and you're right, Drewy. Dean Vickerman right away wanted to nip this in the bud, make an adjustment, realizing he's got the timeouts in his sleeve. But there's a lot of time in this game. It feels like the game is rushing along, but there's still half a quarter. It's a 2-possession game.
As soon as we finish up here, we take you straight to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The Bullets playing host to the Perth Wildcats to finish off round 12, and Ariana Prater will be there for us.
Here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, where the Perth Wildcats, the Brisbane Bullets, are about to go at it. Will the Perth Wildcats bounce back after their tough loss? And some of that body language was suspect. Or will the Brisbane Bullets maintain home court advantage and pull off the win? Well, it's going to come down to Javon Freeman-Liberty. We'll hear from him a little bit later. And it's also going to come down to Perth Wildcats defense. Will they be able to bounce back, or will Brisbane Bullets hold strong? We'll see very shortly.
Yeah, looking forward to that one, Ariana. Thank you very much. And fascinated, Drewy and Derek, to see the response from the Perth Wildcats. They were absolutely nowhere on Friday night.
Well, they had to endure that heartbreaking loss to Bryce Cotton and the 36ers, and then they got their doors blown off by these Sydney Kings, and they travel across the country against a mysterious Brisbane Bullets team. We don't know what's going to happen there. They've only got one home victory this season.
Mysterious is a good word for it. That's coming up next. Oh. Knocked away by Galloway. And then Krizlovic makes a real mess of that one.
That's a good way to describe it. That was a mess. And you could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't find any openings and lost control of it. Shea Illy comes out of the game. Walker now has got the responsibility on Davis.
81-76. 4 minutes remaining at John Cain Arena on Sunday Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. This has been everything that we hoped it would have been so far.
It's been a rough one for Galloway, 1 of 8 from the field.
Nice deep from Xavier Cooks.
Well, Drew, I think you'll agree with me here. It was either jump ball or travel, and Dole's got away with that sneaky extra step as he puts it on the deck. 1, 2. The way he does it, it is legal when you look at it on replay, but it's a very tough one to officiate and defend.
Good recognition by Cooks to come over and help out.
It's not the shot they were looking for.
And that's sometimes where you're going after a shot and you think the guy's there, and Davis tries to exaggerate the shot and the foul that doesn't come and messes his own shot up.
You're better off just going into the shot.
Just go ahead and shoot it.
If he blocks it, he blocks it.
Golding over the top of Bullquall.
Both teams need to look after the shot selection right now.
Henrik Davis that time searching for contact, played through and scores. Back to 3. 3 minutes remaining.
It's on Xavier Crooks. Tried to get some separation and push Chris Levick to help his team out get over the top of the screen. And it certainly wasn't subtle enough.
Big possession here. Let's see what Melbourne United go to.
Tyson Walker running point, shot clock at 9. This Delaney catch and shoot. Sydney all stand there and look at each other.
Bullquall's got to get that rebound.
And then Golding has it slapped onto his leg and out of play.
And Drew, he wasn't proactive in getting after the basketball, but then he makes up for it with good hands on Golding's drive to knock that ball off of his leg.
Well, the last few possessions by both teams, you put in the, it's sort of an accidental structure. It's just not, oh, there's a nice move, though, by Davis. Just slices his way through it, but it's all individual here. There's not a lot of movement, and most of the action's coming with the ball.
And Quall is back to an extreme face guard on Chris Golding in the far corner.
6 unanswered points for the Kings. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in the context of this game, it is worth plenty. Back out to Doyle, must shoot.
The offense is stagnant, Jack.
Kings with a chance to take the lead back here.
He traveled.
Everything running through Kenrick Davis. Walker all up and in. Davis transfers to Malawatch. And Delaney keeps Galloway off the glass. The drama continues to build at John Cain Arena. Less than 2 minutes to play now. Every possession is an event. Doyle scores!
Twisting, pivoting. Doyle just looking for any opportunity to get the shot off. And not only does he get it off and make it, draws the foul on Malawatch. Didn't look like much contact. And Drew, I've got to ask you, I thought Matthew Dellavedova was having one of his better performances.
Maybe there's some sort of minutes restrictions or something. He's got 15 points. And in crunch time, this last couple of minutes, I just feel like that extra creator on the offensive end.
And the experience.
And the experience, and also one of the elite defenders still.
Returned from an infection of the elbow on Friday night, so perhaps there is some restrictions in place for him. It can be the only logical explanation. Tough day at the office for Galloway. His fortunes don't improve. 1 of 9 for the afternoon. A bucket here for Melbourne, and life gets really difficult for Sydney.
As we mentioned that, Matthew Dellavedova getting ready to check in.
Illy loses possession. Sydney call a timeout. Matthew Dellavedova checks back in.
Well, this is their last timeout, so this is, again, a little strange for my liking, but I think it's reflective of how Brian sees this possession and how important it is, trailing it by 4, that it's a must-make possession, and he burns his last time out.
Just such a high turnover game for Melbourne United, uncharacteristic with 21 of them. And Drew, if things don't go their way in this final minute, they're going to look at that and just think that they absolutely blew so many opportunities to put this game out of reach.
Tangerine timeout, 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. Just about a full house at John Cain Arena this afternoon, Kelsey Brown, but we've got some very important people in the house.
We do. We've absolutely loved this contest, and I'm sure the 7 NBA scouts from 6 different teams have absolutely loved it as well. Liam Santamaria said Mike Schmitz from Portland Trailblazers is here for the week. He's been watching Dash Daniels. He'll be in at training, and then he'll go over to New Zealand to watch Karim Lopez as well. But no doubt he's seen some other good players out here today. It's great to have them in the building.
Well, it's interesting, though, with Dash. he's only plays a little over 6 minutes, which is lower than it has been in recent times.
Averages 15 a game across the season, yeah.
And that might have something to do with matchups or who knows, but
I mean, it's just the depth of this Melbourne United team. We've seen this from time to time where guys who are in the rotation, you know, in big games, there's no time for them. There's no budget.
Davis, Galloway, Dellavedova, Cooks and Quoll for Sydney out there. Delaney, Chris Levick, Doyle, Golding and Illy to take Melbourne down the stretch. Davis scores and scores quickly.
So tough.
that is a big play. And
now Jalen Galloway is now picking up the assignment on Chris Golding.
Ball Quoll trying to quell the influence of Milton Doyle. Unsuccessful on the three. Loose ball falls to Sydney.
Great rebound.
22 points for the afternoon for Kendrick Davis. He looms large on this possession. Inside for Cooks. What a pass! Tied up at 84. Kendrick Davis making winning plays.
With the drive to the bucket, spectacular play in traffic by Davis, and then he comes back this time, sees the defense adjust. Chris Levick comes over to help.
Wow.
He threads the needle, and a great catch and finish by Cooks. Davis showing the full repertoire.
And Drew, from where we are seated, we had the perfect POV angle, and it didn't look like the passing window was open. Davis with a great dime to set Cooks up, level at 84.
20 seconds remaining in the Tangerine timeout. Our POV was good, but in IRL it looked even better.
Oh boy, this guy's been spending too much time on social media, but you are not wrong. And as we look at that Melbourne United huddle, Drew, I have to think, given the context of this game and knowing what he's done throughout the course of the season and his career, Milton Doyle's got to be the guy you're going to.
Well, he is. He's missed the last couple. He's 8 of 18.
1 of 8 from the three.
I think that, yes, you want to get downhill, but the off-ball screening for something for Chris Golding. Now, they have not let him change his mind without someone being right in his grill.
They've done a good job of eliminating the three-point opportunities. He's 0 of 3 from deep.
See, to me right now, that they are so vulnerable to the back cut.
Kelsey, you're listening in to Dean Vickerman.
Well, Andrew Gaze, you are absolutely correct. Expect Chris Golding to get this one.
Nice.
And both ways, if he's coming off a screen and they're overplaying, the back cut's there. If not, he gets some separation and at least can catch it. They don't advance the ball because they want the last shot.
They were pushed to overtime on Friday night, Melbourne. Their chance for revenge. Scores tied. Golding trying to get open. Doyle trying to create an opportunity. Double team. Gets it up. Can't score. And for the second time this weekend, Melbourne United are going to overtime. 84 apiece at the end of fourth quarter, and we can't separate them.
Well, Andrew, you talked about Golding being the target. Sydney did a great job in taking that away and blowing it up, but he did come open late in that possession. Doyle's view was obstructed. I thought right there he could have gotten it to him. Oh, my.
Now, whether there was enough time to get that last look, but even there, get it to him early. He's your go-to guy. It's about having to catch it. And that's not a bad look for Milton Doyle.
Just missed it.
But the way that game was finishing, I thought Chris Golding with that type of play rather than Milton might have been the better option.
So you two were both there on Friday night. As we mentioned, they lost to Adelaide in overtime at the Entertainment Centre by 9 in the end. What would they have learnt, from overtime on Friday?
Well, Drew, something we discussed was the fact that United did not start Shea Illy in that overtime period, and Bryce Cotton was able to make plays early in that overtime period from which United were not able to recover. I've got to see Illy here in this first 2 or 3 minutes of the overtime period.
Well, Dean Vickerman confirmed that it was related to minutes restriction.
Yeah.
So his hand was forced, and I said to
Yeah,
him,
but he came on and played later in that period. So our philosophy is we'd rather play Shea early than wait till late when things may be out of hand.
Well, that's right, but I'm playing him the entire time. I understand.
Okay,
that,
well, you'll have the meeting Monday morning.
But are you telling me that there's going to be a difference in 2 minutes to the prospect of hurting him? So to me, that couple of minutes that you rightly mentioned where Bryce Cotton did his thing. Now, who's to say that Bryce Cotton can do that against anyone?
Correct.
But you'd rather have your best option on him.
Fascinating to watch too in the Sydney huddle there. Brian Gordon standing out. It's Andrew Bogut addressing the group as they start overtime. Kelsey Brown is listening into Melbourne as we speak. What's going on over there, Kels?
Well, it looks like Shea Ili is going to start this one out. He's gone straight to Tyson Walker and said check in for this one. So I'm interested to see whether Shilly does play this like you said. No, he's going straight to the bench.
All right, well, now the difference is in analyzing this game compared to that game is there was no Tyson Walker in Adelaide. But the way Shea Ili has been playing on the defensive end in this game, Andrew, that's why I would prefer him right now. Now, Tyson Walker's made big plays throughout the course of the season in clutch.
I say you just want to go with your best defender regardless of what type of game they're having. Just put your best guy on him.
4 of the last 5 games between these two teams have been decided by 4 points or less. And we go to overtime. It's been a contest fitting of an extra 5 minutes. And Krislovic straight away gets himself on the free throw line. That'll be 4 on Xavier Cooks.
That was an awkward-looking move from Krislovic as he had it on his right hand. He tried to go to the D-cell move that we see so many players utilize effectively. Now, he didn't do it with the grace that we see some others, but nevertheless, he's getting to the line. Shoot a deuce. Good stroke.
Had to play a lot of minutes this afternoon, 34 in fact.
One of his best offensive returns in his career. Got 16 points, 7 boards. He's a +10.
Kendrick Davis, marshalling Sydney, has 22 points and a chance to make his stamp on the game in the extra period. Dellavedova with a chance to register a win against his former team for the 2nd time this season. No good. Sydney ball from the baseline.
Drewy, Cook's very risky move there, going over the back with 4 fouls.
And it's the desperation of the moment.
Melbourne United wanted to review that.
Guys, we're having a discussion.
Well, hit the rim. Delhi's shot hit the rim.
We have a reset to 14. The question is, did the ball touch the rim?
Yes, the ball hit the rim.
Double check the ball. Yes, the ball hit the rim. Ball hit the rim. We're good.
Absolutely hit the rim. Well, not even close. It wasn't a complete change of direction. Yep.
Fresh 14 for the Kings. Davis isolates Walker. And then finds Dellavedova deep on the 3. 3 of 8 for the afternoon is Delhi from deep. 2-point game. Melbourne back in possession. Here's Golding. Short on the 3 of his own.
They've got numbers.
Davis pulls up. Audacious from Kendrick Davis.
Courageous as well.
Well, the floor was spread, Drew. It was basically 3-on-3. And when Davis has the ball in that circumstance, I think they have numbers.
Kings take the lead back. What a play from Kendrick Davis. And how many times today have we said that? Delaney tucked away in the corner. Unsuccessful.
1 of 23 from the 3-point line.
Qual for Galloway. It hasn't been his afternoon.
Full Qual's got to shoot that one, Andrew.
Well, he does. It was not a bad find to usually a good 3-point shooter. But Galloway just coming up short. It's in his head at the moment.
Makes up for it on the other end with great hands.
Less than 3 minutes remaining. The Kings have started this fourth quarter well, but that wasn't ideal from Cooks.
Just playing for the foul. Cooks hoping to hear a whistle.
.21 points for the afternoon for Doyle.
Good D. Awesome defense by Galloway.
Plan B is Golding, who leans in. And that's long. 1 of 25.
Unreal.
So Illy getting ready to come back into the game.
Davis and Dellavedova, two-man game. That'll be a foul.
And I love that from Dellavedova. Realized he had Finn Delaney on him. The previous time he went dribble handoff with Kendrick, they got the switch, but then Kendrick didn't take advantage, so Delly got it back and went to it again, Andrew. And it set up that split, which led to a foul. Smart there from Delly, and he looks winded.
You can see Matthew Dellavedova there. He looks absolutely gassed. Just returned from injury. He's given everything that he can. Full qual. Interesting shot selection. No one can score.
Well, it's 3-2 to Sydney in this first 3 minutes of the overtime. Oh, boy.
23rd turnover of the afternoon for Melbourne.
And Kruzlovic has been good in this game, make no mistake about it, but he's found himself in situations that don't suit his game. He's got 4 turnovers as well.
It's showing a lot of grit by Melbourne United. 23 turnovers and 1 of 24 from the three-point line, and they only trailed by a point in OT.
Davis a long way from the basket. Shot clock at 9.
Ooh.
Shot clock now at 3. It has to be Davis from the corner. He's no good. Kristlovic with a strong rebound.
Poor shot selections at both ends of the floor. So stagnant, not a lot of movement. That's 2 fouls now in the overtime, so any other defensive foul that Sydney commit from here, it'll be 2 shots.
And you know, it's interesting when Xavier Cooks isn't scoring well in a game, and in situations like this, he has a tendency not to go into his shell, but he's certainly not aggressive. And it just takes away a scoring option for the Kings.
He's only had 5 field goal attempts, 3 of 5. So Melbourne United have done a good job of taking away the penetration.
Golding got open and still cannot connect. Second time around. Quick release is well short. Kristlovic keeps it alive. Shot clock at 7. Doyle backing in. Must be the man to shoot with a hand in the face. Great deep from the Kings. They get the ball back.
Actually, that was a couple of tough shots by Chris. Golding, like they're playing with 5 seconds left in the game.
Now they'll take a different approach to it, get the ball out of Davis's hands.
Galloway left it short and lets Melbourne off the hook. What a crazy overtime period this has been. Davis falls over. Doyle falls over. Foul Sydney. And you would almost certainly think that they'll review this.
My word, they're going to. And worth a look at this stage, because it's going to be, they heard the call. So they're saying it's a flop, and then that caused the offense to trip over.
This will be an interesting one. Does this get back to the point that I made on Friday night during the game about the defender starting to fall back before the contact is made? Is that what happened here with Davis?
It looked like Davis, too, might have grabbed Milton Doyle, so he...
Well, the right arm is around him, and even though he may have not pulled with force, that right arm being draped around Doyle's waist there.
Yeah. And you know, if he doesn't do it, I think it might have been a charge. He's going forward. He's established the right defensive position. He didn't need to use that right arm to grab.
Well, the coach's challenge with thanks to Amy is going to be unsuccessful. A reminder that there must be compelling evidence on video to overturn the original decision. And I think that you two painted a very good picture that there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the call.
Ryan Gorgon not feeling what we're feeling, Drew.
No, but from his view, he doesn't see the right hand grab, and I can understand why he's thinking, what more can the defense do? But on the
That's
replay,
my job. I got you guys. Vaughn has
clearly
numbers.
shows.
Well, with 35.7, and with the score sitting at it as it is, and you see right there, Davis, that right arm, right hand contact around Doyle is just initially a foul. It's that quick.
It's sending a 90% free throw shooter on the season to the free throw line.
With 36 on the clock, you know, the Kings will have the advantage of the 2-for-1 opportunity.
Oh my goodness. Dean Vickerman turned around in disbelief.
Pressure does strange things, Andrew.
And overtime does even stranger things to people.
Oh,
wow.
Unbelievable.
Milton Doyle leaves both free throws out there. John Cain Arena is stunned.
And the Kings will get into their drawn-up set. It'll be a little on little ball screen.
A bucket here for the Kings, and it may just be enough. 2 seconds for Kendrick Davis. And leans in and draws a foul. Doyle misses both at one end, fouls Davis at the other. 3 free throws coming for Sydney.
Well, now Kendrick Davis has the opportunity to virtually ice this one. They got the matchup they wanted. Hit him with the crossover left-hand push, and he tried. That's only going to be 2 free throws as his right foot was on the line. This game will remain a one-possession game, irrespective of what Davis does from the free throw line right here, Jack.
That's a great pick up. The official did say.
Wow.
And that one misses.
I keep saying it. Forget about someone's free throw percentages. What are their percentages
late
the last 2 minutes when a game is on the line?
There's no way to replicate this sort of pressure. Davis makes the second. 2-point game. Timeout Melbourne with 10.7 remaining.
Well, we've been here before. Melbourne United go into a timeout and try and draw something up. The only difference now, Jack, is they're probably looking at just getting this one into overtime, unless you want to roll the dice, Andrew, and go for the win.
Right now, I think that would be part of the options.
Well, at 1 for 27 from the three-point line.
So statistically, they're due. so the other thing is that I think you want to have that threat. Now, you may take something, but have a look at a clear 3-ball.
Yeah.
And if not, and there's an overplay, there's some other action, but I'm starting to lose confidence now.
Well,
we've seen some of the worst offense in overtime in this game than we've seen in the last 10 games
and look
across
at
the season.
The live ladder shows you the significance of this game as Sydney can climb into 4th place. But Jack, remember, Chris Golding's 3-point streak was broken a couple of weeks ago in this game. He is 0 of 7 from the 3-point line. You know what, Drew? I'm rolling the dice here. I'm going to the 3-point roulette table. I'm setting up something for Golding. Let's walk off out of here later, John Cain Arena.
And that's why we always say gamble responsibly, because it could cost you.
Spoken like a betting man. Some extra time added for Melbourne, 11.4 seconds. They go to Golding. Cook's got a piece of it. Krislovic kept it alive. Doyle. There's a whistle before that.
He had plenty of time, Chris Golding. He didn't need the quick shot. Cooks is running at him, a head fake, a sidestep. But the decision-making by both these teams in overtime has been head-scratching.
You're exactly right, Andrew. It was as if they were playing with less than 5 seconds to go on that inbounds play, and now they find themselves in a real troublesome spot.
Quick foul coming up here from Melbourne, you'd imagine. 7.2 seconds remaining. The Kings on the edge of victory will walk Jalen Galloway to the other end of the floor.
He makes 2, it's virtually game over because there are no timeouts left.
And I love the design on this. This is a great play. They get it to Finn Delaney in a perfect position. Drew, you wanted shot fake, one dribble.
Oh, I thought he actually got a piece of it. He didn't even hit the ball. He just intimidated Chris. But there was still, what, 9 seconds left when he caught it.
Correct. And Milton Doyle is fouled out of the game.
Just.
Well, for the second consecutive time, the Perth Wildcats have got to stick around and wait for an overtime game.
Two-possession game, and then Melbourne turn it over. It's been the story of their afternoon. For the second time this season, the Sydney Kings come to Melbourne and beat United on their home floor. Incredible performance from the Kings, who win it 92-86 in overtime. A thriller on Sunday Hoops.
Big time courage from the Sydney Kings, and you see why now they are 6-2 in their last 8. They restrict Melbourne United to 36 points in the second half, including the overtime. Big time victory. Kendrick Davis is our Foot Locker player of the game.
And deservedly so. Big time moments. He stepped up in that overtime where it was just clunky by both teams. And this is 1 of 28 for Melbourne United. You know, they say that you'll question some coaches, but sometimes you got to put the ball in the hole.
Kendrick Davis did exactly that, and when the game mattered, the Sydney Kings found a way to get it done. 92-86 on Sunday Hoops. That was incredible.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
A huge performance from the Sydney Kings. They beat Melbourne for the second time this season on their home floor in overtime. 92-86, the final score. Another thriller between the Kings and United.
It certainly was, and the Sydney Kings deliver big time on the defensive end.
But the one glaring statistic, Andrew, and it's a historic, must be some type of record, 1 of 28 from Melbourne United from the three-point line. I do not know what to say with regards to that.
Well, it is history-making in this venue, in John Cain Arena, that they've always had 3 or more. So it was remarkable, and I think they'll look back at it, and there definitely was some clunky plays, and some of the execution was poor, but, you know, like we said before, these guys at this level should have made more than 1 out of 28.
Incredible for Sydney. As you said, Derek, they've won 6 of their last 8. They are building something really, really good, and we are building towards the end of round 12. On the other side of this is the Brisbane Bullets and the Perth Wildcats to do battle at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Here's a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder as it stands. The Kings are one to watch all of a sudden. They go to 9-7 for the season, and things look a whole lot rosier for Brian Goorjian's men. On behalf of Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, Kelsey Brown, and our team, who are the best in the business, thanks so much for being with us. It's the Kings who win it in OT, and it's the Bullets and the Wildcats up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.